Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to The Owl House, Season 2, Episode 7. So yeah, this has been one hell of a season so far. It's just been non-stop, big, important stuff, just constantly being thrown at us. From big stuff about Lumity to King to the Golden Guard and Bellows. Just everything just keeps rushing by, and it's wild. It's hard to keep up with sometimes because it feels like there's just so much happening. They're not wasting any time, and it's funny because there's like 20 something episodes this season. Like I think again like 21 or so, but they're still just not wasting time, which really makes me wonder why. What what is going to be happening that they need to just get all of this going so quickly and so consistently? Well, like even episodes that have brought in like new characters and stuff have been super important, like with Ida's mom and discussing the effects of the curse and everything. It's like everything has just been extremely focused this season. And I compared it in a previous video to how season 2 of Gravity Falls did very much the same thing, but not to this level. Season 2 of Gravity Falls still had some episodic kind of stuff going on. Like there's that Dungeons, and More Dungeons episode. It's like, that didn't matter. That wasn't important. I mean, it kind of showed some relationship stuff in there, um, involving Ford and Dipper and whatnot, and so on and so forth. But that's about it. And while that did kind of work its way into the finale with Weird Mageddon, the episode itself was mostly just a random little thing. It was fun, I liked it, but still. With Owl House Season 2 so far, it's just like constantly everything is important. Everything. Like even the stuff with Gus, with him and Bartholomew and all, um, dealing with those other kids and everything from the other school. Like all of that, it seemed like, okay, this could kind of be seen as very episodic, but then you think about it, it's like this is developing Gus and his confidence in his specific tract of magic. This could be very important to his character. It may not be very important to the overall story, but very important to his character nonetheless. And yes, I know it's getting darker out. The clouds are rolling in outside. I apologize for that, even though it's only 2:30 p.m. But anyways, and now to talk about an issue I have with this fandom, specifically on Twitter. People like to post about the Owl House, and that's fine. That's all great. And there are certain people who do read synopsises and everything prior. They see the leaks, they look at trailers and all, and that's fine, but they post about those without tagging them as spoilers. So I'm just scrolling down my feed and I end up seeing notable spoilers for this episode. Because people are not even trying to use spoiler tags. They're not even using any hashtags. They're just posting blatant spoilery photos with spoilery information that I don't realize at first. And so I end up seeing what's going on. And because of that, I've been spoiled. I've been massively spoiled on something for this episode. And I hate it. I really hate it. I made a post on Twitter. I put this tweet out that was all about like telling Owl House Twitter. It's like, please spoiler tag your spoilers. Not all of us look at that stuff. Some of us like to go in as blind as possible. Please spoiler tag your shit. And it's funny because some of the people who liked that and even retweeted that still continue to do it. Still continue to post this stuff without spoiler tagging it. And continue to share it from other people. So I know of a character that's going to appear in this episode. I know their position. I know a lot about them that I really wish I did not know. I'm not going to reveal it here because even though you see these like a week after they came out, just in case anybody happens to be watching this blind, I'll wait to mention exactly what I know till later. But yeah, I'm actually really pissed at this kind of shit. It's one thing to see a spoiler like thumbnail on YouTube. That's one thing, because usually you have no context for it. But to see all of these posts, a shit ton of these posts, by the way. I have all these spoiler tags, like hashtag Owl House spoilers and whatnot, and stuff like that. I have all of those blocked on my Twitter so that those won't show up. And yet, this past week, especially like in the past like 3 or 4 days, I've been seeing constant posting of these spoilers. Constant. I even know what the theories are behind them. And it pisses me off. Because it's like, I just want to scroll down Twitter. I want to see what's going on, what people are sharing. But when this kind of shit happens, it's like, oh my god, this is so fucking bad and annoying. It's not that hard to spoiler tag your fucking shit. It's extremely easy. You just type in hashtag Owl House spoilers or something like that, something in that vein. It's really easy. And yet people just refuse to do it. And I don't know why. Are they that fucking lazy? Maybe the spoilers don't matter to them, but they have to realize that they do matter to other people. I don't want to have to just avoid Twitter overall. And the thing is, a lot of these posts, I couldn't even like block out the word Owl House, just the title alone for, because a lot of them don't even say Owl House in them. I would have to block out like the name Ida or the name Luz. I would have to block out like the most simple of things, and that might even not always work. Because some of those posts just had this new character's name in it and didn't mention, and the text didn't mention anything else from the Owl House besides just this character's name. So it's like that wouldn't even necessarily work. There's no way to stop that unless I like saw like the first one and blocked out the character's name, which honestly I should have. I guess I didn't think of it right away. I should have done that sooner, and that would have helped a lot. But still, people just really need to spoiler tag their shit. Because no matter whether or not the theories surrounding this character become true, it's like I still know a lot of confirmed information. Really strongly confirmed information, too. And information that I really, again, just did not want to know. And I don't know how the character is going to factor into the episode and the story and everything. I don't know any of that. But I do know a lot more than I really want to. And I'm really pissed about that. So if anyone on here is watching who posts this kind of stuff on Twitter, just please spoiler tag it if it's a spoiler for an episode that has not come out yet. That's all I ask. That's all you need to do. It's super simple. Also, I will turn on a light for when I get to the reaction, but I needed to say that because it just pissed me off so much that I got spoiled so heavily. And yeah, again, I'll admit I should have turned off like I should have like spoiler tagged the name, but there were even some posts that didn't even mention them by name. It didn't even use their name in the actual text, so that wouldn't have even entirely worked. And it pisses me off. It really does. That's why I tend to wait until like a day or two after to start posting stuff about that. Until I'm sure most people have already seen it. That's when I'll start posting and sharing about new episodes. And that's why I try to get to these reactions as quick as possible. But either way, we're just going to get on with this and hope that these major spoilers haven't entirely ruined the episode for me. So let's do so. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. More spoilers than I already know. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, let me explain everything I knew going into this. I knew the title. I knew about Rain Whispers. I knew that they go by they, them pronouns, that they're non-binary. I knew about their connection to Ida and the entire thing with the instruments and all the guitar, I guess you could call it. I knew that there was a theory that Ida and Rain had a romance in the past and everything, and it very much seems like that was the case. And just stuff like that. I knew so much about this character and surrounding them that it's like I really wish I didn't, because even with knowing everything, all that stuff, it was still really good. But I think it would have just left a bigger impact on me if I didn't know. Because it would have been a lot more surprising, a lot more exciting, a lot more interesting. But as it was, with knowing, it was still really damn good, really fantastic. We get more representation in the series, which it's like, yeah, Dana's just going all out. Dana's like, fuck it, we're just gonna give all the representation. And it's like, hell yeah. But they're also a really cool character. I like Rain. I like their connection to Ida, how they used to be friends and possibly more. It's very clear that they have a thing for each other. And it's very clear that they did when they were younger as well. And it's interesting to see Rain be working as like this kind of rebel force throughout this episode. This episode focuses a lot on Ida being not really afraid, but really kind of depressed about the prospect of all of her loved ones leaving her. Luz wants to return to the human realm to see her mother again. King wants to find his father. Lilith just left to go back to stay with their mother and all. So she feels like everybody's leaving her behind. All these people she's grown to care so greatly about. And within this episode, we see that kind of reach ahead when she believes that King is going to leave her to search for his father by using this race to kind of get the word out there and everything. And so we see how upset by all this is. So when she kind of reconnects with Rain, it allows her to just kind of find an option of something to focus on that allows her to keep her mind off of the sorrow she's been feeling, while also having a possibility of someone else to be around. So she helps Rain and the bats like conduct these plans against the Emperor's Coven and whatnot in order to, basically act as like freedom fighters in a way. just acting as this rebel force fighting back, which is awesome. And it's cool that we get to see. I'll eventually get her name down, hopefully. But the fan fiction girl, I love that she's a bard. That's amazing. And I love that Rain is doing this despite having just been named the head of the Bard Coven, which obviously that's not going to be the case anymore. Um, but yeah, it's just a lot of cool like touches in there, and I love the like kind of how Ida had grown and connected to all the members of the Bats and all. Like even that one girl's like at one point she's like, "You're not our mom," and then later on she calls her Mama Ida. It's like really cute. Amber, I think that girl's name was. Um, and the race, the entire race that's happening is kind of like in the background. Most of this episode is focused on Ida and Rain, and they end up getting chased down by the Masters of the Beast and Abomination Coven in the end, and Ida has to leave Rain behind to fight for herself. Uh, well, to basically escape for herself, really, while Rain fights for themselves. Um, so yeah, Rain continues to fight, but is eventually caught by Kikimora and taken away. Apparently, they're needed for um, whatever is to come. We don't know all the details yet. And Ida gets away, and we find out that King's plan was not to leave Ida, but that he's legally changing his name to King Clawthorn, basically assigning himself as part of Ida's family. And it breaks her. It emotionally just destroys her in the best way. And it's really fucking cute and emotional. And it's like, yeah, it's like I even got a little teary eyed at that. It's just awesome. So it's very clear that no matter what happens with Luz, like Ida will always have King, and I think no matter what, Ida will always have Luz to a point. I think that's going to end up being how it is. Even if Ida or even if Luz like goes between realms eventually, kind of at will. But I'm very interested to see where this goes now because I think it's made pretty darn clear that this is not the last we've seen of Rain. They're not a one-off character. They will be returning. Um, Without question, they will be returning, and it's probably going to come down to Ida losing them to save Rain when it gets closer to the big day that they're building up to. Um, and one of the other theories that people were saying could happen with this episode is that because of the possibility of Ida and Rain being a couple and everything, people were saying that Luz may come out as bi to Ida in this episode, because it has apparently been stated that that will happen. There will be a scene of Luz coming out. That didn't happen clearly, but I'm wondering, like, could that connection still be forged there? Like, could Luz come out in this way because of Ida and seeing Ida's relationship with Rain? I guess that's still a possibility. Um, Also, this canonically, it's again, it's not even subtle. It's super blatantly obvious that Ida and Rain are a couple. So, or at least have feelings for each other. Not necessarily like officially a couple, but it's super obvious they have feelings for each other. So this kind of a lot of people were pointing this out too. Kind of canonically confirms Ida as queer because we know that Rain is non-binary, so that's cool, and just even more representation. It's awesome. It's bloody fantastic. But yeah, overall, this episode was really good. It was really good. I really love um, Rain's character. I love how they have this great stage fright, and they're really cute at quite a few moments too. They're adorable. But I really love them. I love how they're this leader of this rebel force. And I love that they're all bards and that the fan fiction girls, and I love that. I love that they brought her back. And I hope she continues to be a character moving forward because I really do like her. We've seen the nose girl quite a few times, and this. We've seen one of the other characters who are there, the eyeball guy. We've seen him in the background a few times too, but I don't think we've seen this girl too much. And again, I'll get her name down eventually, but I really did like this episode, and just the possibilities for the future that it brings are great. So tell me in the comments, what did you think of season 2 episode 7 of The Owl House? And thank you all so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.